Right, so this is the Sharpeye Storms model. It is Kanoa Igarashi's personal model, I believe. And I was pretty keen to ride this board. I mean, it's obviously Sharpeye's the shaper of choice for a lot of guys on tour, like Kanoa and Felipe. Yeah, it didn't disappoint. It went really, really good. Had a great off the mark speed. Held in really well. Just again, it was just another board that it just did what I wanted it to. It was just easy to ride. I could throw the fins if I wanted to. I could just sort of lay down a bit more of a rail turn if that was what I was going for. It just did everything with ease. Yeah, and there's just nothing bizarre about it. It's a little higher volume than your typical shortboard. Probably an inch shorter than what I'd normally ride, but I think that just helped, especially in kind of marginal conditions. It got it going over the flat sections, and yeah, just a really easy board to ride, and something I'd be able to just ride day to day. Just a really good all-rounder, really. Alright, so this is the epoxy version of the Sharpeye Storms model. It's the exact same dimensions as its PU counterpart. It also features the carbon down the middle and an aero blank, which is a higher density blank that's designed to be, and it's actually quite light, it's designed to be lighter, but the higher density allows it to cut through chops a bit easier. And that was really evident when I surfed it. I rode it in some pretty punchy lefts, and even in some sort of choppier conditions, and it cut through the chops really easily. It held in all the time. It was just a really solid epoxy, actually. From my experience, I've had epoxy boards that are really good in small waves, but when the waves get beyond 2 foot, they're just out of their depth, and they can't handle the speed, or they can't deal with the chops on the waves so well. But that was not the case at all with this board. I actually rode it, as I said, in some pretty punchy waves, and yeah, it held in really well the whole time. It never really bounced around. It never skipped out. It was just, yeah, it was a really solid board. Alright, so comparing the two, I've got to say my favourite was the epoxy version. Whilst the PU was really good and it did everything I wanted it to, the epoxy was pretty much the same, but just a little bit faster. Just that EPS construction made it just that little bit quicker off the bottom and through my turns, and just gave me a bit more of a sense of control over the board. And then also with the aero blank, this board still really dealt with the chops well and cut through any sort of unruly sections with ease. So yeah, I've got to say that this is my board of choice of the two Sharpeyes. Maybe in conditions over 3 or 4 foot, I might go the PU, but for your everyday waves, I think this was my favourite by far.